Hey there, YouTubers. Welcome to Afternoon Garage. I know you must be saying, is this guy going to do another video on LEDs? Hell yes, I am. And I'll tell you why. Because I messed up the first time. First time I put LEDs on this thing, I stuck it on with the tape that's provided on the back of these strips. Well, it didn't stick. And before too long, I'm sure it would have fallen off the car. I definitely don't want that. So I had to come up with a better way to stick this underglow lighting underneath the car. So if you're with me, let's figure this out. Right here we have this LED strip. It says it's got 3M adhesive on it. You'd think that'd be pretty good stuff, right? Well, it didn't stick. Not quite sure why it didn't stick. I'm not really quite sure if this is even 3M. So what I'm going to use here is this LED channel. This stuff's pretty cool. It comes in silver, comes in black. They have different covers for it. You can get diffused lenses, you can get a clear lens. I'm going to use silver with the diffused lens. So this stuff will go right inside here, and then it'll be totally enclosed. Be able to seal the ends off with some silicone. We'll be using also one of these, which is a real simple LED controller. One thing to remember about this is that this is not going to turn off permanently. It will actually come on whenever this is provided power. This thing is going to come on all the time. So you really want to run this through some kind of a switch so you can shut off the lights so it's not going on all the time. Now my previous installation, it just had one color of light. It was just blue. Kind of worked for me at the time, and it was kind of before all these multicolor changing lights came on the scene. So basically what I had in the front is I had one strip in the front, one along here, and one back there. So this time around I'm going to be breaking it into 3 parts in the front, just a single piece in the middle, and 3 parts in the rear. So that's going to get a little more complicated because you have to cut some angles. These LED strips are going to have to be wired together. They have a data path in them too that has to be run from one to the other. And as well, if you want the lights to go in a certain direction, you have to make sure your data path is going in the right direction. It gets a little more complicated, but you know what? We'll figure that out. Let's get started. All right, so here's an idea of the LED strip on how it was still stuck to the car. It was probably stuck there, maybe there, and then maybe there. And then you can also see how the silicone has really, I don't know if you can see that or not, it really started to yellow. Flip these things and we'll be able to see how much adhesive was actually holding this on. Can't be a whole lot. Actually, this one's stuck pretty good. You can see the adhesive, almost nearly all of it, the portion that's white here. As you get towards the front, not so much. So you definitely can't have that. And like I said, I think if the zip ties weren't used, this probably just would have fallen backwards underneath the tire. You'd have driven over it and pulled the wire right out of the vehicle. So you can see this muffler is awfully close. This is the back panel. So I've taken these nuts, some of these nuts off, and mount something up in there like that. All right, here's the 3 pieces of metal that we cut. I'm gonna mark them and drill them and get them up in there. Looks like 5 1/8. So 5 1/8. I sized these so they're about 3/4 inch long on either side. This doesn't have to be very accurate. There we go. This allows you to make very nice, precise cuts. Originally I was going to drill some holes in here and then maybe do a plug weld with the TIG. But I just kind of want to keep it more DIY. Therefore, I'm going to try a super strong epoxy using the same kind of technique. I got this at the store. And the reason I got marine is because I think they're all the JBs are all waterproof. This one actually resists chemicals and petroleum products and that kind of thing. You're going to need some heat resistance as well, and I think it's good for that. This here is, you can see there's kind of a shape to it. This channel can bend slightly, and it's probably not an issue. So you can see taken and drilled a hole in it, drilled 2 holes in the channel, and 3 holes in this. So what we're going to want to do now is to prep this surface for epoxy. Make sure you have the correct side on this, and then this kind of mounts like that. It's going to come all the way to the end because we need to make sure and have room for a nut, a lock washer, and a washer there. Don't be afraid to really get in there and roughen this up a little bit in all different directions. It certainly makes the epoxy set a lot better. And repeat for each one. Same thing on the back side of this. One thing really important to any adhesive process or requires a good bond is to make sure and clean the surfaces really well. So the rear and the front of most any car is going to be a little difficult. I work on usually older vehicles, and they have some structure underneath to make some brackets and bend to. But fortunately, the good part is the side is always usually pretty flat. What you don't want to do is definitely don't want to put anything under here because you'll be missing it shortly, especially if you have a lower vehicle. In inspecting this a little bit, it looks like we have some screws that have kind of a pan head on them. I don't know if you can see that. It's a Phillips screw. It's going to be 5mm. As everything on this car is metric. And what we really want to do, that's unfortunately in the location of where we want to put our strip. And we're going to have to come up with a solution for that. This is a countersunk 5mm screw. Boy, when they get into metric sizes, they sure get expensive. And we're going to have to use a countersink tool to get up in there and recess these screws. This plastic here is probably 1/8 to 3/16 thick. It's pretty thick, so I'll be able to get in there and have a nice countersink to mount this up in there and provide a flush surface for our channel. It's also important to mark the location of where these holes are because you definitely don't want to put a screw that fastens the channel up in there that's going to collide with the screw that's already there. So just take a little piece of tape because you're not going to know where it is once the channel's on. Here's what it is. It's just a little plastic piece. And of course there's all kinds of dirt underneath it. I'm pretty sure that all we really need to do is just make sure that all these holes are going to function, clear them all out, maybe wipe some of this dirt off that's kind of come up underneath here. Countersink our holes, install our new 5mm countersunk screws, and move forward. But definitely you want to use a product like this. This anti-seize. Don't get it on your clothing, it gets all over the place. So this is a channel, we have to put it together. And they have different connectors you can get. Some of these things go on the outside of the channel. Got yourself a piece of metal. Like that. There is a groove in the bottom of the channel, you can kind of see it there. It's a little bit difficult to get in there sometimes. It's going to go together with a real small little gap. You're not going to have anything on the outside of it. And then this sits flush enough to where we can put the LEDs right along on the inside of here and not be a problem. Let's mark our holes. We'll mark each one of these holes approximately where they need to be, just as long as they don't interfere with the countersunk screw. I think we're going to be fine. There we go. Something sort of like that. With the 3/32 drill bit, drill your first hole. Mount this channel. It's probably a good idea before you do this to find where the center is. Kind of want to bracket this bolt to that. So I think we're going to have two of them, one here and one there. We'll take a measurement. Looks like about 2 1/4 inches. So then cut yourself a piece of paper. Cardstock, something that you can bend and make a template. We've done that. So I think where I want this to be is in between this shield, the splash shield here, and the actual fascia itself, kind of up in there like that. And I want to have it slotted so that you can slide it in and get it out if you have to.
Hours later. 24 hours later.
So I know what you're thinking now. Man, that was a lot of work to do all that. Just to keep the LEDs from falling off? Yeah, that is a lot of work, but you have to do it in order to make sure that these things are going to stay on. And not only that, we have LEDs along the sides of the vehicle going to the tires now, which is kind of a good thing. I like it. So here it is. Here's that piece I was just working on. It's all done now. So next week, we're going to get to this point, and then I'll show you exactly what you need to do to make sure the LEDs run in the right direction. You can see this LED strip is wired so they come to a point right in the middle of the car. Next week, I'll show you how to do this. I'm sure there's many other ways to accomplish the same thing that I did here. If you have any other good ideas, leave in the comments section. Thanks for watching.